we're going to go into a 3-part formula to become unforgettable. Clear positioning that tells the right story to the right audience. That is always a big issue. People don't know who they're selling to. And so they call it in marketing, pray and spray marketing, where they're just praying and spraying all their different solutions out to this ether or universe and hoping that people pick it up and call them. And that is a horrible marketing strategy. Don't do that. So making sure you understand what you bring to the table, what your company and your brand offers, the pain points it's solving for, and then also who it's solving it for. Who is your ideal audience? Having that really clear is where you would want to start first with your branding. A brand that reflects your vision, your mission, and your values, and also tells the story that your audience actually cares about is the number one thing you need to do with your brand. And it may sound super simple, it's not, but we have a process to get you through the entirety of that conversation. Positioning yourself as the unforgettable solution in your lane. Build a brand that stops your audience from scrolling. Build a powerful brand that reflects your vision and unique value. Clarify your messaging, mission, vision, voice. And then also what we do at our agency, and like I said, multiple agencies do this, so I'm not saying I'm the only one. I think we're really good at it, but we're not the only one. Create a brand kit and audit your online presence so you know where you are currently. Go out and see the traffic that you're getting from various channels and also audit, is that how we show up? And is that how we want to show up? Is that aligned with our vision and mission? And does it establish authority? Do we look credible? Do people trust us? And the best way to know that through social media is to see if people engage with the content you're putting out. If there's zero engagement, people are not aligned or you're not hitting the right target market. All right, number 2, a consistent content strategy across multiple channels, not just random posting. I see so many people do this where they say, oh, I'm on social media, but they have no plan and they just post. Trust me, guilty as charged. I did this when I first started because when you first start a company, you're so busy that you're not trying to think of keeping up with your content strategy. The good news is I've figured out a way to make it automated to where you just set it up once and you have to groom it and nurture it every once in a while, especially if you're launching a campaign like this masterclass. We had a whole 14-day, if not bigger, 30-day window where we led up to this masterclass to promote it, to, let people know there's a registration link. And we don't stop there. We're just really enlightening people on what our solution is and who it's for. But you certainly have to continue adding value, adding momentum. But the good news about content strategy is most of it can be done on an automated system now. I think back in the old days, everything had to be done manually. The algorithms of different social media preferred you to do it in their native app, which they still do. But they now know that there are content planners and calendars out there where you can batch create and you can shove it all into your calendar, have it go out in a system, and go on to doing something else. So we'll talk about that. You need a steady, focused content strategy that builds trust, not noise. You just don't want to have messy content out there because that, again, will create friction in your business and it won't be additive. The platforms where your audience live and consume information is your goal. So wherever those channels are, hopefully you've done some research on your audience and you know who they are and who your target market is, and then go there. If you push a bunch of content out, but you don't have a strong brand, then you're pushing garbage, right? So it's the old saying of garbage in, garbage out. So you're going to get garbage out if you put garbage in the machine. So that's why I always say you can't skip that step. You can't have a crappy brand with no identity and it's not aligned to either your audience or your business and then just start pushing noisy stuff out through content strategy. You could do that, but again, you're going to have a garbage in, garbage out, GIGO system working for you. So the nice thing about the masterclass is you will learn all the nuances of the different social media platforms. There are 10 that we use, and we know them very well. We know what their purposes are, and we know why and how to use them. And, those do change. You hear on social media all the time, people talking about algorithms change, algorithm that. We don't get too caught up in algorithms. As long as your content is credible and it meets your audience where they are, you will be just fine. Also, creating community through live events, press. You can put out press. You can do it through storytelling. There's a ton of different ways that you can create community. Also, just that consistency piece. If you're just doing this once in a blue moon, it's not going to work. You need to show up every day with something to say about your brand or have someone that can. I also think it's important when you're looking at strategy to have content pillars. We've changed ours a couple times, but we try to keep it kind of clear of selling anything. I actually get really annoyed when social media just becomes a big pitch. Like, I'm a huge fan of scrolling TikTok at night, but it's become like the TikTok shop palooza. It's just TikTok shop, TikTok shop, TikTok shop, one after the other. That's not as fun as it used to be. Social media used to be really engaging, entertaining, inspiring, educational. And so we try to stay at Tribe closer to those pillars. So we look at every piece of content under that lens. And that's what people call content pillars. So is it educational? Is it teaching someone something? Is it inspirational? Is it getting them to do something they would never otherwise not done? Or is it entertaining? We don't do a lot of entertaining because we work with medical device executives, which aren't that easily entertained, but we do play along on different channels where it's more of a consumer-based social media. So like TikTok and Instagram, we don't take ourselves nearly as seriously as we do on LinkedIn and Twitter. I also recommend using a content planner. We personally use Buffer, but we've used several. I could tell you, if we ever have a one-on-one, I can tell you all the different content planners I've used. They even have one in Canva and a bunch of other solutions. So don't break the bank over it. We just personally like Buffer. It's super easy to use, and I think it's fairly affordable. Also, when you're building content, batch build content. So you're not constantly having to be either camera ready, or you don't have to constantly be thinking about, what am I posting today? If you're posting on the same day that you're thinking about it, that is not good. So pick a day of the month, maybe it's the day of the week, where you batch content. And then if you have a social media manager, great. If you don't, if you're wearing many hats, which I understand, then just make sure you're dedicating some time on your calendar to get all your content set up in a calendar. And then lastly, anything to do with content, I'm always going to go back to make your brand a verb. If your brand is beautiful or it's got an amazing story to tell, but it never gets seen, then it's for nothing, right? So let's get your brand really strong, which we will help you with. And then let's get it moving. Let's get it moving. Because I built this company, like I said, I'm going on my 3rd year anniversary in September. This year has been the turning point for me, where I just get random leads and random referrals and random people coming to me. That took 2 years of showing up, right? But it's constant now. And so thank you. I'm happy about that. And I'm very grateful. But that's from making our brand a verb. Okay, and then the third area that we've kind of talked about a few different times, but I'm just trying to reinforce some muscle memory here. A system that turns into actual leads and revenue. So it's one thing to be out on social media channels or other marketing channels, but ultimately, like I said before, if you're not exchanging money, it's a hobby. And so let's get you some money, because you're going to have to pay to build your brand. You're going to have to pay to get content out to the different channels. That's going to have some overhead involved. You can do it on the cheap. I have for years, but there will be a cost associated with that. So if you're in the red only and you're not generating revenue, that's a problem. So independent of your content strategy, what you're putting out and messaging about your brand and your company's solutions, you also need to have as much attention on your lead and funnels and generating outreach. And that's really where things turned for Tribe, if I'm being honest, is when we just turned that thing on, and we had it on all the time, and it's never skipping a beat. And that's how you scale. And so that's been included in our masterclass, the entirety of what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. So I kind of alluded to it. This is kind of the masterclass, zoom out, you'll get a ton of different templates and things we use on a daily basis with our clients and also with Tribe. You'll get me, you'll get your group, you'll have a bunch of workbooks, templates, tools, and then you'll also have all of the modules that will go through in painstaking detail all the different things you can do. It's educational modules, mostly by me. I might have a few guest speakers, but mostly by me and on that specific topic of the day or of the week. So it's very fine-tuned, very methodical masterclass. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not a light, like kind of unoriginal content where you could find it on ChatGPT. This is real life brand agency expertise that we are putting into an 8-week course.